Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. How are you doing today? Welcome to the Path of Peace. There are moments in every human life where darkness feels overwhelming, where the heart aches and the soul wonders if Allah has abandoned it. In such moments, despair whispers and hope feels far away. But in those very moments, Allah reveals light after darkness, hope after hardship, and reassurance after sorrow. One of the most beautiful reminders of this reality is found in Surah Ad-Duha, the 93rd chapter of the Quran, revealed to our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. This surah is not only a source of comfort for the Prophet, but also for every believer who goes through hardship, grief, or feelings of abandonment. It reminds us that Allah never leaves His servant, no matter how dark life feels. Surah Ad-Duha is short in verses but vast in meaning, and today we will dive into its background, its deep messages, and its timeless lessons for our lives. Introduction to the story behind Surah Ad. To truly appreciate the power of Surah Ad-Duha, we need to understand the circumstances in which it was revealed. The early years of prophethood in Mecca were incredibly difficult. The prophet faced mockery, rejection, and insults from his people. He was bringing the message of truth, but instead of welcoming him, many of the Quraysh turned against him. His followers were few, and their suffering was intense. At one point, revelation stopped for a period of time. The exact length is reported differently. Some narrations mention a few days, while others mention longer. During this pause, the prophet felt sadness and distress. His enemies mocked him, saying, "Muhammad's Lord has abandoned him." Imagine the pain of such a statement. The prophet, who dedicated his life to Allah's worship, was accused of being forsaken. It was in this moment of heavy sorrow that Allah revealed Surah Ad-Duha. These verses came as a soothing balm to the heart of the prophet, reminding him that Allah had never left him and would never leave him. Main content: the surah and its meanings. Allah begins this surah by taking oaths. By the morning brightness, and by the night when it covers with darkness, your Lord has not forsaken you, nor is He displeased. Quran 93 1-3. The imagery of dawn after darkness is powerful. Just as night is followed by the bright morning, hardship is always followed by ease. Allah swears by the morning light to remind us that despair is temporary and light always returns. The night may be long, but it is not endless. Allah then reassures the prophet directly, "Your Lord has not abandoned you, nor has He turned away in hatred." These words were a direct response to the taunts of the Quraysh. They proved that temporary silence from revelation was not abandonment. Rather, Allah was teaching His messenger patience, trust, and reliance. Then Allah says, "And the hereafter is better for you than the present life." 93-4. This is a reminder that even if life feels hard, the eternal reward awaiting the prophet and all believers who remain steadfast is far greater than the struggles of this world. Next comes another promise, "And your Lord is going to give you, and you will be satisfied." 93-5. The scholars explain that this verse refers to the countless blessings Allah would bestow upon the prophet, both in this world and the next. One of the greatest fulfillments of this verse is the prophet's intercession on the Day of Judgment, when he will be granted permission to plead for his ummah until his heart is satisfied. Then Allah reminds the prophet of his past favors. "Did He not find you an orphan and give you shelter? And He found you lost and guided you? And He found you poor and made you self-sufficient." 93-6-8. These verses remind the prophet that Allah's help has always been with him. From the time he was a child, Allah cared for him. When he was orphaned, Allah arranged for him to be protected. When he did not yet know the details of divine guidance, Allah guided him. When he had no wealth, Allah enriched him. These verses are a reminder that Allah's care is continuous and unbroken. Finally, Allah gives 3 instructions. So do not oppress the orphan. Do not repel the one who asks. And proclaim the blessings of your Lord. 93-9-11. These closing verses show us how gratitude should be expressed. Allah's blessings are not only to be remembered, but also to be shared through kindness, generosity, and acknowledgement. Caring for the weak, helping the needy, and speaking of Allah's favors are ways to show gratitude. Lessons for our lives. Surah Ad-Duha is not only about the Prophet, it is a message for every believer who struggles, doubts, or feels abandoned. The lessons are timeless. Hardship is temporary. Just as night is followed by dawn, difficulties will be replaced by ease. Allah reminds us never to lose hope. Allah never abandons His servants. Even if life feels empty or difficult, Allah is closer to us than we realize. Silence is not abandonment. Focus on the hereafter. This world will never be perfect. Real contentment lies in what Allah has prepared for us in the next life. Remember Allah's past favors. Whenever you feel hopeless, reflect on how Allah has already blessed you and lifted you from past difficulties. Gratitude in action. Surah Ad-Duha ends with practical steps. Help orphans, be generous to those in need, and speak of Allah's blessings. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a way of life. Conclusion. Surah Ad-Duha is a treasure of hope. It came to the Prophet at a time of sadness, and it continues to bring comfort to every believer. No matter how dark life becomes, the dawn of Allah's mercy is always near. Allah never leaves His servant, and He promises better for those who remain patient and grateful. So whenever you feel abandoned, remember these verses. Recite Surah Ad-Duha, and let its words fill your heart with peace. Just as Allah comforted His beloved Prophet, He will comfort you too. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with more Islamic content. Like, share, and comment to support our work and spread the message.